Hi, this is The Whole of the Moon by the Waterboys. One of my favourite Waterboys songs. Waterboys, one of my favourite bands. Great song. What I've just done, I've just had a listen to it and I've worked out, like I often do with these lessons, I've worked out the chords on the guitar that will give you the best overall sound of the song. So I'm not specifically looking at what the guitar does on the song. There's not a huge amount of guitar on this song really. So I'm really looking at how to play the song on a guitar, sort of incorporating some of the piano and keyboard chord sounds on here. Alright, so for most of the song we just got 4 chords. One of them's a little bit difficult to play, but I'll just show you what the 4 chords are. We've got a C, and it's the standard C shape you probably know, with the little finger added here. Now you may have seen this in other songs. It doesn't change the name of the chord when you add that note. It's still just called C or C major. So I've got my 4th finger on the 3rd fret of the 1st string, 1st finger on the 1st fret of the 2nd string, 2nd finger on 2nd fret on the 4th string, and 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the 5th string. Play 5 strings to avoid the E. So we've got, and that goes to a kind of a C major 9 chord, which I'm playing like this. It's not a standard shape. And what I'm doing there is I've got my 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the 1st string, 2nd finger 3rd fret 2nd string, 4th finger 4th fret 3rd string, 1st finger 3rd fret on the 5th string. And the 4th string is muted by that finger just touching it. And then the E string here we're not playing. I'm actually muting it here as well, but that's not essential. I'm not playing it here. So even though those individual chords aren't that hard, changing between them might take a bit of practice, going from that to that. A little bit awkward, but it sounds good. It sounds like the song. Okay, then the next one is an F add 9, which is played like this. So I've got my little finger still there on the 3rd fret of the 1st string. 1st finger still there, just like we had for the 1st chord, on the 2nd string 1st fret. 2nd finger on the 3rd string 2nd fret. 3rd finger on the 4th string 3rd fret. And thumb across here, if you can reach that, get the bass note here, which is 1st fret on the E string. And then this A string, I'm muting it with that finger just from below. Means I could strum all of the strings and that one's not ringing out. If you can't do that, it won't matter to have that note ringing out, the open A, that'll sound fine. So it's right, then the difficult one, we've got to do this. The shape we did for the 2nd chord, which was that, we need to do that same shape but with the 1st finger on the 4th string instead of the 5th. So I've got those 2 each in the 3rd space like that. Little finger there on the 4th fret 3rd string, and then 1st finger, instead of being on the 5th string 3rd fret, it's on the 4th string 3rd fret. So it's those notes. It's a nice chord, but the hard part is ideally you want to have your thumb still playing that F bass note. Now that's a really nice sounding chord, and it does, to me it sounds like the song, but it's awkward to get to. Depends on how long your thumb is. This sort of thing is not really to do with playing skill or anything else really. It's just down to how long your thumb is. That's the main thing that's going to help with this. My thumb's not particularly long, so I find that a bit of a struggle to get, but I can just about do it. And my 1st finger is touching the A string from underneath, so that's being muted. And again, the transition between the 2 will take a bit of practice, going from that and then to that, but it's worth practicing it. If you like the song, it does sound really good. So they're the 4 main chords. If I just strum those very simply, just so you can hear them. There are other ways you can play this, I should point out. Before coming up with these shapes, I came up with a few other ways of doing it, which is easier, but this one sounds the best. In terms of the rhythm, The guitar, I think on the record, is just doing a sort of a very simple rhythm like that, where you accent certain ones, but you're mostly just hitting the strings every time you go past. It sounds like this. But on its own, when you just play it on a guitar on its own like that, it doesn't really sound very interesting. So you could do another kind of rhythm. You could maybe play in this kind of style that a lot of acoustic guitarists play, where you sort of pull the strings like that, get the bass note with your thumb, and use those 3 fingers to get some of the other strings in the chord. Something like this. Right, there's one other section in the song that's a little bit different. One of the verses, I can't remember which one it is, but it's the one after the instrumental section. And you'll recognise this when you hear it. What happens is the bass does a really nice descending movement and the chords stay the same. But in order to play it just on one instrument, just on one guitar, we need to incorporate these descending bass notes with different shapes to make it sound right. I'll just show you what they are. So the first one is the first chord we've been using anyway, the C. Then we want G over B. And the way to do that is take those 2 away and move that finger to the 5th string, 2nd fret, and play 5. So not this one. So that was... An A minor, just a normal A minor chord, you probably know. G, standard G chord, but instead of playing with those 3 fingers, use these 3. It's easier in this sequence. So I've got my little finger on the 1st string, 3rd finger on the 6th string, 2nd finger on the 5th string. And then the F add 9 that we've been using anyway. Remember to mute the A string, especially if you're strumming. Then we've got an interesting one. This one is like the shape we did there for the F, but with this 1st finger moved back 1. So it's kind of an E minor 7 really. 1st finger's on the 2nd fret of the 4th string, and then these 3 are where they were for the other 2 chords that we did earlier. So like that, hopefully you can get it from that. Now this finger's touching the A string, so I'm muting it from underneath, which means I can play the open E as well. And then the bass descends down to a D, which is below this E, but we can't do that on a normal tuned guitar. So I'm going to a higher D and using that with a D minor chord, a normal D minor like that. Probably know that one, but it's 1st fret, 1st string, 3rd fret, 2nd string, 2nd fret, 3rd string. Play 4. And then back to the E minor 7 that we just did. So that sequence of chords was... And then from there, it goes back into the 1st sequence. So that whole kind of verse, which is a bit different, sounds something like this. Okay, that's the whole song really, because the main sequence with those 4 chords, that goes round for nearly the whole song, except for that other verse I was just talking about. And that's it. So yeah, just a quick one today. It's a bit rough and ready. I've only just had a quick look at this myself, but I think they're the best shapes that I've found so far. So if you've got any questions about that, or if you've got any thoughts on other chords that might sound good for this song, please put them in the comments, because I'd like to see that. Please click like if you like this one, and suggest any other songs you want to see lessons on. It can be Waterboys songs or anything else. Okay, thanks.